came out on top. And now Chris Forsberg, who we haven't seen compete yet today because he had a bye run on his top 32. So Michael Essa, he actually, you know what? He had a bye run as well because he was intended to go against Alec Robbins. Again, shout out to him and his wife. He sent me a message. He says they're feeling a lot better, so that's great. Here we go. Send it. Our first battle, the Royal Purple Top 16. Royal Purple, the official synthetic oil of Formula Drift. Chris Forsberg initiates in that first outer zone. Past that front flip, into that power alley. Here goes Chris Forsberg now into that third outside zone at the beginning of the sweeper. Michael Essa in the FCP Euro Liquid Moly Achilles tire BMW. You can see him gaining some ground, getting right next to Chris Forsberg, and now bringing it across the finish line. Pretty straight cut there, Ryan. A nice job by both the guys.
Yeah, and obviously Michael Essa up in those points as well. So big battle here. You can really tell with the fresh coat of paint where these zones are laid out. Forsberg, nice little snap, fully fills the zone. Essa comes off a little bit early, goes tight to try to gain positioning, but falls back. A little bit of adjustment in angle there from Essa as he misses outside zone 2. Here it is one more time. You can see Chris getting that rear bumper right at the edge of outside zone 2. Really hard part of the course. But Essa forgoes outside zone 2 to gain proximity here, leaving outside zone number 3. The final section into outside zone 4. Essa was able to button it up. Here it is one more time through the power alley. You can really see that separation, and Essa not getting out to outside zone 2 pretty clearly from that angle. And here we go, wrapping around the final section. This is where Essa starts to gain something back. The needle trying to shift it in his direction as he closes proximity through the finish line.
All right, let's take a look as we switch it up, and Michael Essa will lead. Chris Forsberg will give chase, and a good eye. Just so many different angles here that we're utilizing. So, you know, at first take, it's, you know, kind of easily digestible, but then you pointed out Michael Essa missing that second outside zone. Let's see how they tighten it up here. It looks like our Nightshade Toyota Tundra and Toyota Tacoma fixing the course and getting it back up and running. So as Michael Essa will lead, Chris Forsberg will give chase. And they leave the start line. Clean start there from Essa. Let's see how they drop into that first outside zone. Past that first front flip. Now going to that second outside zone. Looks like they alternate positions. Look at that overhead view. Nice shot. Filling both of filling that third outside zone. Tucking in on the smoke signal. Chris Forsberg reeling him in. Massive angle from both the guys. Woo! That was solid right there towards the end. Little nerve-wracking, but man, that smoke signal, you can see those Achilles tires just absolutely making a huge smoke trail.
Well, we knew we'd get a good battle here, and this definitely goes back and forth. This time, Essa in the lead. Nice job on that first outside zone. Forsberg through the smoke line. Essa with angle through inside clip 1, just to the edge of outside zone number 2. Here he goes into 3. Really deep there as Forsberg tucks up on the inside, trying to drive through the smoke line. Here it is coming out of inside clip number 1. And then back into outside zone 2. This is where Forsberg tries to close the gap to outside zone 3. Essa gets on the throttle. Forsberg surges forward. He's on the right line. He's got good angle, and so does Essa through the finish line. Here it is from the drone up above. You really get a good idea of how Essa got into outside zone 2. Forsberg forewent it a little bit, didn't get as tight, or excuse me, as deep. And then as Essa wraps through this final inside clip, he really starts to pour on the angle and the smoke line, but Forsberg keeping the proximity close.
All right, let's take a look. Do we have a verdict here? It looks like the judges, yeah, it looks like they are going to request a BC Racing coilover side-by-side instant replay. BC Racing, the official suspension of Formula Drift.
Yeah, both drivers having some high points there. We know how challenging outside zone 2 can be. I think both drivers in the chase really didn't get out as deep as they should have relative to the lead driver. Chris had great proximity towards the latter half of the course, and maybe more time in the proximity zone that you'd like to have. But let's take a look at the overall run. Essa on the right, Forsberg on the left. Nice snap there. Let's see how Essa does in the outside zone 2. Pretty good job, Chris as well. Chris tucks up on the inside as he chases. Essa starts to close the door towards the latter part. Chris gets to it earlier. So fans watching at home, was there somebody that had the edge here, or is it too close to call? Could it go one more time?
All right, the judges racking their brain, figuring out who gets the win, who is moving on. Our first battle, the Royal Purple Top 16, Royal Purple, the official engine oil of Formula Drift. And it looks like we have a verdict. Slide him left for Forsberg, right for Michael Essa. One more time from Chris Yule. Ryan Lontaine says Chris Forsberg, and Brian Eggert says Chris Forsberg gets the win. Chris Forsberg gets
as well, so that's fine.
Here we go. We got Dean Kearney, Adam LZ, our next battle, top 16.
Whoa!
Oh, boy.
That was right in front of us.
Oh, boy. So Dean Kearney initiates, and it looks like it just did not snap back. LZ going on the side of Dean Kearney. That is definitely a bummer for both the drivers. Let's take a look at that again here, Ryan. And
yeah,
Adam had nowhere to go.
Exactly. I think this one seems a lot more clear than the contact that we usually get when drivers are at speed somewhere in the middle of the course. This is a situation where it looks like Dean just over-rotated into the first corner, and Adam, as you said, Jared, really had nowhere to go. Let's take a look at it again. Sometimes Dean will throw these really nasty flicks. Big angle here, really overextended. See, he gets on the brakes, and then Adam really doesn't have anywhere to go on that section of the track, so you can't really fault him there. Here's another angle. We'll get a good shot of it. You can see how maxed out he was. He was backwards.
Whoa.
And then right there, Adam's like, I can't go anywhere. So that is going to be, with high degree of certainty, that'll be, oh, now it's official. It is on Dean Kearney. So what that will mean is that Dean Kearney will be at fault. He will receive an incomplete since the run resulted in a collision and the drivers were not able to finish the run. That also means that Adam LZ, if he needs to fix his car, will not have to use his competition timeout, and Dean Kearney will.
It also looked that I think LZ caught a little bit of a break there because that front left corner, when Dean rotated, it caught his door. It didn't hit his suspension. I think that would have caused more damage. So
more strife.
Yeah, less strife for sure. Just more cosmetic, but ideally not the functionality of the machine. All right, our 2020 Tundra Nightshade and our 2021 Tacoma Nightshade. His Shelby teammate, Tyler Nelson. Kazuya Taguchi will lead. Jonathan Nerren will give chase. Looks like track is clear. We'll be clear to send. And we are seeing our starter.
What's that guy doing back there?
All right. That's that dude's with Matt Field. There we go. Kazuya Taguchi, Jonathan Nerren. Kazuya initiates. Jonathan Nerren might have given Taguchi way too much room. Has taken an odd line here. Let's see how he handles this. Oh wow, look at Taguchi. Looks like he might have dropped the tire because that is a point of overturn. You can definitely DB the tire out there. And shreds that back bumper. I think Jonathan gave himself too much room, and Taguchi just shot out of the hole, out of that first outside zone, then past that front clip. Like to see the overhead view here, especially going into the outside zone 2.
Yeah, coming off a big win against Kenguchi, continuing the momentum. Notice Nerren does not get out to outside zone 1 or follow Taguchi into outside zone 2. He's really missing the line overall here. Now he does kind of get back in the fight after Taguchi goes wide on outside zone 3. As we take a look again, coming through the power alley, you can see he's kind of straight lining the approach, missing outside zone 3. Now he's doing that to gain proximity, which is a mistake that maybe you can swallow so that you can do that. But obviously, as you mentioned, Jared, the first half of the run, he really didn't play much of a factor. See the line that he's on there coming into outside zone number 1. It's really offline, and then he's not really able to put it together in really critical parts of the course. So in the chase run, Taguchi doesn't really have to do that much other than really decent proximity and relative line to get this win here, because we saw a lot of mistakes from Nerren in the chase position. So that's you know, an opportunity possibly missed.
Very unfortunate for Jonathan Nerren. Taguchi smiling underneath his helmet. He is potentially one step further to grade 8, but we've seen crazier things happen. So he's not going to let him go too far away. As you say, keeping it relatively close. Doesn't need to have any big X factor here. Jonathan Nerren off quite a bit of those clipping zones. So let's see. He put it together there towards the end, put an exclamation point on it, but it's kind of a bit of a choppy sentence, if I may. Here we go. Jonathan Nerren out front, and Taguchi in a wow. Nerren absolutely screaming right now. He might have heard us. He says, all right, I'll show you. Whoa, buddy. Want to take a look at the line in the power alley. Seems like he quickly got through that power alley. I don't know. That was before the finish line. Kazuya Taguchi going off course, and Ryan, Jonathan Nerren might have just been gifted another opportunity.
Yeah, let's play out a couple scenarios here. I mean, really, I don't think the judges are going to give Nerren a 0 in his chase run.
Good point.
So I think.
Oh boy, this might.
This is going to be bad for Taguchi, all things considered. Either he gave it away, or if there is a 0 from Nerren in his chase run, it could be an evaluation of the leads. I doubt that. I think Taguchi just made a critical mistake here in an area where he didn't really need to be doing this much in that area. He didn't have to be pushing that hard. He knew that Nerren had made some mistakes. Nerren really rocket shipped out of the front gate and started blowing away from Taguchi, at least initially. And Taguchi's like, oh, I got to catch him, I got to catch him. And then he makes a critical mistake in doing that rather than being a little bit more tempered and kind of playing a much more defensive role in the chase position.
Jonathan's line, you know, like I said, he quickly got through that power alley, that outside zone 2, and then pulled through, and then through that sweeper. I think you're right. Taguchi in his mind's like, I got to get him, and just overcooked it. And that's a 0. That's off course. Like you said, Jonathan didn't have a 0 in his chase run. It just wasn't the prettiest.
I don't think he did, yeah. I mean, I think in the side-by-side, you'll see more apparently. Watch Jonathan in the rear, because I think that's really all we need to focus on.
That's on the left-hand side. Nerren is in the chase on the left-hand side. Do those mistakes equate and qualify as a 0 compared to like Taguchi going off?
Yeah, I mean, he's not following the chase driver goals really at all until right here. But I'm not seeing like a solid, this is a 0 type situation. I think Kazuki just blew this, Taguchi just blew this opportunity.
Got it, Kazuya Taguchi, there it is. So Jonathan Nerren. All right, well, here we go. Let's see how menacing it is in that rear view mirror. Gittin Jr. transitioning in. There goes Matt past that front clip, taking out that front clip, now into that third outer zone. Oh man, look at Gittin Jr. Matt Field right there, not shaking. Remember, Gittin Jr. coming up back-to-back wins, and Matt Field, woo, that drift cave Corvette really bringing the heat, Ryan.
He was trying to lock in really early, Matt Field that is. You can see Vaughn opening up, clearing the smoke out here. Field really got out aggressively. Notice how close he stays to Vaughn on initiation. I mean, he is right there, bumper to bumper. Vaughn gets into outside zone 1. Field drops back for a second, a little bit less angle there, hits that outside zone. Great job by Vaughn on outside zones 2 and 3, filling it completely. Field right here starts to lock in. Now he's really gonna start chasing him down. And this is outside zone 2 and 3. One more time from the other side. This is where Field finally gets an opportunity after staying in relative proximity to get very, very close. And this is a great job because more than, I would say, 3/4 of that bank, he was in really good proximity to Vaughn. This section right here leaves a little bit less to be desired. It's a good job on outside zone 2. He didn't get as deep as Vaughn, same on 3, but the proximity was pretty decent. It wasn't door to door, and the difference we can just see, that's proximity right there. Great job by Matt Field. Vaughn out front as the lead driver. Incredible job as we take a look at the clock from Dean Kearney, and I don't think it's going to happen in 35 seconds.
No, the clock is winding down very quickly, and to get to get the wheel on, drop it down. So that would mean Adam LZ would make it into the grade 8, man. So here we go. Let's alternate the order. Matt Field out front, Gittin Jr. in the chase position. Let's go. These guys are two very aggressive drivers. Matt Field goes to that first outside zone. Taking out that front foot. Matt Field using all of the course. The windows to the walls. Look at that. Oh, look at it. We got some surging back and forth. It's a dogfight, man. Look at this. Woo! Bring it across the finish line. Well done by Matt Field and Gittin Jr. I like Matt's line. He did hit that front clip, but I liked how he hit that second outside zone. And looks like a face of defeat right there for Dean Kearney, unfortunately.
Yeah, let's go back to the run at hand. We'll revisit Dean, and let's take a look at what Matt Field does in his lead here. Great job on that outside zone. Vaughn comes up a little bit short there, same, but it's really hard to do in the chase position. Vaughn tries to lock in. We saw some separation from those two when Vaughn was leading. Some equal separation here as well with Vaughn in the chase position. Gives you an idea of just how hard it is to be a chase driver on this course. But then Vaughn locks in. He has that surge, like you said, Jared, and then really starts closing it down towards the finish line. You see that pocket right there, an opportunity for drivers to gain that proximity where they may have lost it in other areas of the course. Field deep into outside zone 2. and 3, and this is where Vaughn sees it. Sees that opportunity, surges forward, backs off for a second, and now commits 100% to try to reel in Matt Field. And as we take a look, yeah, he is definitely not happy about that situation. And unfortunately, it was caused by a mistake that he made on initiation, but you hate to see it overall to a veteran competitor and a great guy like Dean Kearney, who's been really working so hard this season.
I feel for him, man. That's such a bummer. Here we are with the BC Racing custom coilover, side-by-side instant replay. Ryan, anything stand out to you? I mean, I really liked Matt's lead run. I think he did a good job chasing down Vaughn overall. I mean, I just think the refinement is what the judges are really focusing on.
I smell a one more time, but yeah. I could see it going one direction or the other. But I don't. Wow. I don't know. Ryan's looking at me like, oh, you know. No, I can't see from here.
Oh, here we go. Slide him left for Vaughn Gittin Jr., right for Matt Field. And there's a vote for Vaughn Gittin Jr. from Chris Fontaine. Vaughn Gittin Jr. So Vaughn Gittin Jr. And
what they're going to have to go back and do and look at the data to determine whether or not the track temperatures were a problem or if the setup was a problem. It's really, really fascinating, that perspective. Unfortunately, you know, that is part of the game, and it's what these guys prepare for. But he will have a second chance to come back tomorrow and do it all over again.
That's right. Here's the big battle we are anticipating. Chelsea Denofa, Frederick Aasbo, real contenders in the championship. And Ryan, like you said, really needs to rise to the occasion here in Texas. We're now on the downside of halfway through the season. Denofa initiates that first outside zone. Now coming to that first front clip. There goes Denofa and Aasbo. A little bit of distance between them. Now going to that third outside zone. Look at Aasbo jumping way up there. Weird flex, but okay as he continues on. Denofa, massive angle there. Weird line there from Aasbo, not Aasbo-esque, if I may.
Yeah, it happened right at that POV shot, and so we didn't get a clear look at it, but Aasbo obviously jumped forward. We'll obviously get a number of different replays here to take a look at it a little bit more deeply. Big flick by Denofa, massive angle. You see Aasbo surge forward, then has to try to get back on the line. Great job on outside zone 2. Here he comes through the smoke line. So it was on the transition there that he comes through the smoke line. Now, I'm hoping that the drone will show us how he ended up in outside zone 3 when he came through on that surge. Obviously very smoky on course. This angle right here is going to show us how he came through the smoke line initially. And right there, it looks like he's starting to get, oh, you know what? He just transitioned way too early.
Like
missed outside zone 3. He may have been blinded or the car may have unwound. Watch right here. I think he's okay in the smoke line. And then right here, you see the transition.
Yeah.
He's not able to push out. Luckily for Aasbo, he's a skilled enough driver that he's able to get back into the heat with Chelsea Denofa. But that one little mistake is something that the RTR team and Chelsea Denofa can seize on in their chase run.
Yeah, that's definitely showing a weakness here. So Denofa is going to really try to take advantage of that. That's a major disadvantage there for Frederick Aasbo. We saw a win at round 1, Denofa winning round 2, and then the other RTR team captain there, Vaughn Gittin Jr. in the doubleheader in Seattle. Oh, an early initiation from Chelsea Denofa. That was really weird. I'm about to look at that, the instant replay. Now coming to the power alley. Look at, oh, and we got contact.
Oh,
wow.
Man, Denofa. Oh.
Denofa goes hard into Aasbo, and oh, man.
We are seeing drivers make mistakes when they really don't need to. And at first pass, it looks like Denofa may have bit off a bit more than he needed to. It started with what you saw there, Jared, and pointed out. It looks like he got a real early initiation and then had to kind of finesse his way back into competition to stay with Aasbo. Then we get into outside zone number 3, and he's blasting forward with the momentum. Look at the early initiation there. Now he's able to keep angle in the car, but Aasbo in the lead position is really flying here. Denofa stays on the line with Aasbo. Now he starts to lose some angle, comes forward. He's got a lot of momentum here. He gets on the brakes and makes contact with Aasbo. Now let's keep an eye on Aasbo's smoke line, because remember, outside zone 3 is that decel area. And Chelsea at this point may be so committed to what he's doing that he can't really slow down enough to avoid Aasbo. And that's where we see well, actually it's a collision now because we stopped drifting. So that means somebody's going to have to be put at fault, and somebody's going to have an incomplete.
Let's take a look at that. I want to look at that first initiation as well. Was Aasbo late initiating? Because you know, I was kind of focused on, you know, Aasbo initiated, but it was weird. I'd like to see that instant replay of the initiation right here. Look at that.
No, that's
so
just
3, 2, 1. That's
early
good.
initiation.
Super early
for Denofa.
From Denofa, yeah.
But that last angle, I think, showed us the most detailed explanation of what was happening with Chelsea. You can see he was getting on the brakes. The front end started to chatter around a little bit. He was surging forward really with nowhere to go. And Aasbo right there, you can see the smoke line was already getting back on throttle, but it was too late. Wow.
With a fairly, you know, mellow, non-dramatic filled 32, 16 is quickly becoming quite dramatic and quite exciting. All right, the Rockstar Supra waits. And yeah, Denofa initiated as early as the 3 cone. You can see the green cones right before that first outside zone initiation. Denofa initiated at the 3 cone. So it goes 3, 2, 1, and then zone. That was crazy.
Yeah, most guys are doing it between number 2 and 1, with most of those guys doing it at 1.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because they're trying to get as much of a run-up as they can. Denofa, way early. That right where Aasbo did it is pretty much about where everybody else is doing it, or a large majority. Now, this angle right here, Jared, I like the most because watch, you're going to see the front end start to, as he's getting on the brakes, it wants to get out of drift, but it's because he's coming up so fast and he may be playing catch-up there that he really doesn't have enough to slow down before hitting Aasbo. So we saw Taguchi make a pretty big mistake, and now we're seeing other top drivers make mistakes in areas where it's a pretty clear advantage after that first run.
Oh, yeah. Very interesting turn of events here. We talked about this being a critical battle in top 16 with 2 championship contenders, and this transpires.
I'm very interested to hear what Ryan has to say about this, but now let's make it official. Who's going
Slide
on?
up left for Denofa, right for Aasbo, and there goes Aasbo with 1, 2, and Aasbo gets the win, taking out Chelsea Denofa. Moon. Also, dinner is on the line. Here we go. As Jeff Jones leads, initiates in that first outside zone. Jeff Jones past that front clip, and there's Odie Bakchis. Look at Jeff Jones. He is doing exactly as he said. He is, whoa, and we got contact from Odie in that chase position. Remember, there is that decel zone, so a lot of these drivers having some difficulty there. Same spot we saw Denofa and Aasbo get into it, Ryan.
Yeah, I think Odie got out of the gate a little bit unsettled, and maybe strategically what he needed to do against Jones was not as clear to him, because he pushed very hard from initiation and looks like he's fighting the car to try and find good positioning behind Jones. You can see he's starting to pull angle out of the car. Then he does it again there. Now on this transition, he's going to drop a tire here, surge forward as he gets back on the asphalt and make contact with Jones. Now Jones, being the relentless one that he is, continues to get through the course. Yeah. But Odie looks like he made a mistake. Now remember, outside zone 3, for everybody that's watching, is the decel zone. So drivers are allowed to slow down in outside zone 3 and make an adjustment there. And we've seen multiple collisions in that area where the chase drivers are just not adjusting to what the lead driver is doing and is allowed to do. So here's Odie coming through this section. Watch, he's going to drop a tire, gets back up on the asphalt, he surges forward. Jones is allowed to be braking here. And then as soon as Jones starts picking it back up, that's where we see the contact happen.
Yeah, Odie just lunged forward and just went way too hard into Jeff Jones. Here it is. Look at Jeff Jones deep in that first outside zone. You can see Odie transition. Just doesn't look comfortable. Doesn't look like the Odie we've seen before. Jeff Jones, all the while, you know, he's putting the car in the right places.
Yeah, I always feel
battle will go against either Jonathan Castro, you can see waiting in the wings, another Toyota, or will it be Taylor Hull? Tuerck will lead. Yoshihara give a chase. In that first outside zone, Ryan, that was kind of where we've seen a lot of the drivers initiate in that first outside zone, coming to second through the power alley into that third outside zone, and another driver really trying to get to the side. Oh man, he is bathing in that smoke. Bring it all the way around, man. Give that guy a bar of soap. He is dirty.
Nobody really has been able to kind of knock the consistency of Ryan Tuerck down. He's been always finding a way to win, even though he hasn't gotten that first place finish. This is a huge opportunity for Daijiro Yoshihara, who's looked phenomenal the past few rounds with some really high marks in general. He gives a little bit too much room to Tuerck, but Tuerck is not getting all the way out to outside zone 2. He does better on 3, but you can see the front end almost wanting to wash out there. There's Dai just hitting that inside clip, moving into outside zone 2. Dai comes through the smoke line here, tucks up on the inside. Now he's going to try to find a way to grab some grip here. He falls back a little bit, but here he comes. Look at how quickly he pulls back up to Tuerck towards the end there. Had he done that a little bit earlier and stayed on it, he may have been able to gain some more proximity, but now we'll switch things up as Daijiro Yoshihara can lay down one of those clean lead runs that we've been seeing through him all weekend.
The good thing about that for Ryan Tuerck is, yes, it's a clean, good run. The bad thing for Dai Yoshihara is he's predictable, you know what I mean? So Ryan Tuerck, you know, his spotter, Biddy's probably keeping notes saying, hey, look here, look there, and then also just expect a nice, good, clean, sterile run, and that's what Dai's known for, you know what I mean? All right, well, we're clearing the track, utilizing those 2021 model Nightshade, Tacoma, and Tundra. Here's Odi Bakchis in his vehicle, waiting for his team to just dial it in. You can see Aaron down there working on it, popping the hood. All right, I don't see a clock down. Oh yeah, down to the left. Don't see how much time is left, but the NGK competition timeout being utilized. Looks like checking the alignment, getting it dialed. All right, was that 4 minutes, 10 seconds? Is that what I'm hearing? All right, so just about 4 minutes as Lorette, thank you very much. There you are, thank you, Lorette. 4 minutes left, just under now, for Odi Bakchis in this NGK Spark Plugs competition timeout. All right, now let's go back to Dai Yoshihara and Ryan Tuerck. Dai Yoshihara will lead. Ryan Tuerck giving chase in the second half of this battle. Crazy runs right now, Ryan, in the top 16, man.
Yeah, I expect nothing less.
Dai Yoshihara leading, Ryan Tuerck giving chase. Initiating that first outside zone. Nice fluid line there from Dai Yoshihara. Like I said, oh, Ryan Tuerck offline, does not get out to that second outside zone. Does salvage a run. I thought for sure he was going to go off course, just not get in the car to slide out to that second outside zone, Ryan. That is a massive mistake by our current points leader, Ryan Tuerck.
It's a good bit of driving to come back from that kind of mistake and not lose too much ground. But as you pointed out, Jared, it definitely was a mistake. He does a good job getting with Dai early on, but Dai we know is going to be super consistent and smooth here. Look at this beautiful angle. Those front wheels are locked into outside zone 2. Tuerck comes off early, almost has to reposition the vehicle, goes off course a little bit with that right rear. But luckily where Dai was on the course and where he dropped back in on, he's able to get in the pocket there and maintain close proximity and actually made it look pretty good overall. It could have been a lot worse for him there. He salvaged it overall. Let's take a look at it again from this angle here. Nice flick back around. Good mimicking by those drivers, but this is where Tuerck comes off outside zone 2, and as he comes through the smoke line, Dai is just getting into outside zone 3, where Tuerck is able to tuck up and kind of stay right on that left rear bumper of Daijiro Yoshihara. Now, once he's in this position, he can pretty much stay locked in here through the remainder of the run, and Dai is giving him that opportunity because he's drawing a great lead run. Here it is from the overhead. Completely blows outside zone 2.
Wow.
But it's almost like a luck of timing as he comes back on, where Dai was on the course and Tuerck back in that area where he could have kind of used that, you know, really the outcome of that mistake to kind of lock back in and keep the battle close.
Well, keep in mind, you know, Gittin Jr., who's sitting in second, he would love for Ryan Tuerck to get knocked out. That could shake things up as far as the championship goes, you know. And then you got Aasbo. So here is the BC Racing side-by-side instant replay. But, you know, Aasbo, who's advanced on, he was sitting in third. So our judges analyzing the BC Racing custom coil over instant replay. BC Racing, the official suspension of Formula Drift. That was definitely not expected from Ryan Tuerck. Let's see. And let's see if we got a verdict here from our judges. Oh man, absolute pressure cooker here for Ryan Tuerck. Slide him left for Ryan Tuerck, right for Yoshihara. One more time from Chris Yule. One more time. So there it is, and it's unanimous. OMT. Lantain, go ahead and put on your headset.
Really being aggressive and maybe needed to back off a little bit to get more settled. Let's see what he does here in his lead run.
Absolutely loud and proud past that first front flip. Odie knows he needs to throw down, and Jeff Jones knew he had a rocket ship, but right now, look at that. Odie turns it back on. Little decel action, then throws some more angle at it. Look at Jeff winding it up. Bring it all the way across.
I think what we saw there from Odie is kind of an indicator of what happened there in the chase. Clearly he has a lot more grip dialed into the vehicle than Jeff. He was able to pull a gap pretty substantially on major portions of the course, and being too close to him in the chase run may have cost him that, where he could have finessed getting closer to Jeff as the course went on. You can see right here, he's doing a great job out front. This looks like the standard Odie that we typically see. Really great initiation into outside zone 2, fills it completely. Beautiful transition into outside zone 3. Here comes Jones surging forward, but look at it. As soon as Odie gets back on throttle, it's a 2, 3, 4 car gap. So Odie's got a lot of grip dialed in that vehicle and was very apparent there on the lead run.
Yeah, so here, love this overhead shot. On that front clip, both of them are. You can see Odie filling all that second outside zone, approaching on the third. Both of them are there. Jeff just dipping his back right, and like you said, Ryan, just pulling away, filling all that fourth outside zone. Now, keep in mind that contact that was made, Jeff did stay in it. He kept on continuing, as you call him, the relentless one. Let's see, do we have a verdict? Still waiting as we, oh, here we go. Slide him left for Jones, right for Odie Bakchis. Looks like Chris Yule says Jeff Jones. Lantain says Jeff Jones gets the win, taking out Odie Bakchis. Ryan, Jeff Jones, Taylor Hull will lead. Castro giving chase. Initiating at that number 2 cone goes Taylor Hull. Castro, you can see him making some corrections there, just massaging it right to the side of the Cadillac. Transitioning into that third outside zone. Now he's going to drop a brick on it. Both of them are. Taylor Hull, massive angle. There comes Jonathan Castro. Woo! You almost saw some rubber on rubber contact there, Ryan, coming through that sweeper and across the finish line. Let's take a look at this again here. Taylor Hull initiated at the second, 3-2-1 cone, the 2 cone. Here we go.
Yeah, and Hull has been on one this year. Big angle coming out of outside zone 1. Here comes Castro. You can see Castro a little bit of a tighter line, but not as extreme as we've seen from other guys. We just know that it's really hard in that chase position to get on the exact line between 2 and 3. But here comes Castro diving in there towards the end. Almost pulls some angle out of it, but is able to survive through the finish line. Here's Hull right here with Castro right next to him on initiation. Hull getting out to that outside zone 2, right at the edge, flowing through the track into outside zone 3. There's the decel zone, and then Castro takes the initiative to try to get on the inside, pull away some distance from him, and just right there, I think he got away with it, but it was very, very close to the finish line.
Wow, Taylor. Oh, love that. This is a good battle here. Let's alternate the order. Castro will be out front. And now Hull will chase him down. Waiting for the track to get cleared up, and we'll be good to send, and we are hearing it is clear. Remember, we'll go back to the one more time of Ryan Tuerck and Daijiro Yoshihara. Clear track, so let's see him. Sending down the pipe, here we go, Castro. Got that 2 cone. Castro out front. Whoa, oh boy, Taylor Hull comes in high, has to screen, has to correct. Oh man, oh boy, this is getting hairy right now with Taylor Hull in that chase position. Very interesting. Let's see what we got here. You get to see him get wound up, Ryan. Again, changing those angles. Let's take a look at it from the overhead and all the different perspectives.
Unfortunately, I think he may have incompleted coming out of inside clip number 1. Let's take a look at this again. We'll back it up a little bit. Right there, you can see he opposite drifts, or he has to reinitiate. And I've seen that go an incomplete. Here it is from this angle. Castro coming through. Castro makes a little bit of a weird adjustment in the lead position. I want to take a look at that again. I wonder if the judges are looking at or seeing that as well. He made a weird adjustment coming into inside clip number 1. I don't know how much of an impact that had on Taylor, but it may have had an impact on Taylor. That's where the mistake that Taylor made, which in my mind would have been an incomplete. Let's watch Castro here. See, he kind of unwinds the car.
Yeah, Castro made a weird move there.
So this is going to be one of those ones I think that the judges are really going to look at to see, was there a causal path from Castro to Hull? Looking at Hull independently, I think it is an incomplete, but we have to factor in what the lead driver is doing. And
that was pretty quick, man. Here we go. So Taylor Hull gets the win. Taylor Hull gets the win, Ryan. And I believe that's Ryan Lontaine going to you. Let's make sure you're Mike Tuerck. That gum out Toyota Racing Toyota Corolla hatchback against the Turn 14 Distribution Falcon tire. Subaru BRZ. Ryan Tuerck rolls into it, initiates good transition. Oh, we got contact. We got contact in that transition. Ryan Tuerck continues on. Yoshihara looks like he gets disrupted, goes off course. Ryan Tuerck stays in it with that Toyota Corolla and brings it all the way across the finish line. Ryan, unfortunately for Yoshihara, had to come to a halt.
Well, I'm not saying anything about anything, but remember there's 2 decel zones. Let's just preface that. I'm not doing a Nostradamus thing like I'm know what's going on or whatever, but clearly there's one at initiation and there's one at outside zone 3. So let's watch this contact and just keep an eye on Ryan Tuerck. Outside zone 1 and outside zone 3 are your decel areas on the course, and they pretty much mirror the zones completely. So what we're going to be looking for here is behavior of Ryan Tuerck's car, consistency of smoke line, angle, dies on a tighter line, et cetera, et cetera. That gives us a little insight. I think we need to see it a little bit tighter.
Ooh. Yeah, I think Dye tried to get aggressive from the gate and just jump right to the side of Ryan Tuerck, but he just got too close for comfort and Tuerck couldn't transition. So ready, see how close he is? Transition.
Yeah.
Boom.
Tuerck's wheels are spinning. He's putting up smoke. He's got white wheels, so it'll be pretty apparent. Let's take a look at it from here. He's got big angle. Dye coming up. Oh, man. And just a little one, too.
I mean, you got to think that Corolla hatchback bumper is tiny. You know, I mean, he doesn't have the big overhang that some of the other vehicles have, and that it's really tight to that back tire. So I think Dye was, unfortunately, risked it for the biscuit, but I don't know, that just didn't pay off.
Yeah, we're getting right back to it.
Yep. So Ryan Tuerck, Odie Bakchis, yeah, as you say, getting right back to it. The winner will be going against Taylor Hull in the Grade 8, as we are currently in the Royal Purple Top 16. Royal Purple, the synthetic experts, the official engine oil of Formula Drift. Looks like making sure bumpers are all good, everything's affixed, and ready to go for it. Here we go. Pay attention. Lights are on. Let's send it to FD Vets. Yoshihara now out front. Ryan Tuerck in the chase position. Initiating 3, 2, 1. Boom. There we go. Into that first outside zone. Past that front clip. Yoshihara wraps around it. No problem this time. Now into that third outer zone. Look at Dye pulling away from Ryan Tuerck. Some separation there, but I don't think that's going to be enough to offset Yoshihara, the contact, and going off course, Ryan.
It's really going to come down to that contact, and I think at least from what I'm seeing, it looks like it may have been Dye being overly aggressive. If that's the way the judges see it as well, you know, then it's going to be hard for Dye to come back from this. You know, Tuerck, I think he may be thinking that as well, because we don't see an overly aggressive chase from Ryan Tuerck here. He gives some room to Daijiro Yoshihara. That at least implies to me that he feels like he doesn't need to attack as much or put himself at risk given what happened in run number 1, but let's find out.
All right, waiting for the judge's verdict. If it comes in pretty quick, we'll know that's pretty cut and dry. Remember, the winner going against Taylor Hull. We have quite a few new faces in Grade 8, Ryan. Here we go. Ryan Tuerck, Yoshihara. Slide him left for Ryan Tuerck, right for Dye. And Ryan Tuerck gets the win. Ryan Tuerck gets the win. Our points leader who is threatened by being taken out by Yoshihara is, no matter how many times you've gone around it, you got to go against your competitor. Here we go. Chris Forsberg initiates into that first outside zone. Adam LZ jumps to the side of him. Here we go past that front flip into that second outside zone. Now coming to that third outside zone, the sweeper. Adam LZ applying some pressure. Look at that. Woo! Chris Forsberg, massive angle there. Adam LZ, you can see him diving in, going a little bit lower, shallower line towards that last outside zone and the finish line, Ryan.
Yeah, and that was a pretty good challenge there put on Chris Forsberg by Adam LZ. Let's take a look at it here in a little bit more detail. Forsberg in that lead position, nice little snap there. Good timing by LZ in the chase. Coming through the smoke line here, Forsberg gets through inside clip 1, a little bit short on outside zone 2. LZ adjusts, dives in on the inside as Chris clears outside zone 3. He's going to start trying to push out. Now this is the inside clip once again. Let's watch how Forsberg gets to outside zone 2. He gets right at the edge there. Like to see him get a little bit deeper, and that allows Adam LZ to get a little bit tighter on outside zone 3. But this is where LZ makes a mistake. He drops down, lowers the angle, and then almost goes completely off course. Here's Forsberg once again. You can see get into that edge of outside zone 2. And in 3, he does a much better job, but LZ was able to stick through him, get through that smoke line, but then he wasn't able to pull it off towards the end as he kind of dropped down about 1 jump on the line and then reduced the angle a little bit. So that gives Chris an opportunity to kind of look at the mistakes that LZ made and try to do better in his chase run, and vice versa as well. We know a couple mistakes that Chris made. Can LZ better those as well?
Yeah, most definitely. These drivers, I mean, they're paying attention. Their spotters are seeing what's out there, what the other drivers, what to expect. And here we go. Adam LZ will lead. Mickey Andre, thanks for watching, homeboy. The Throttle homeboys heading as well. Here we go. Adam LZ out front. Chris Forsberg, the chase position. Dishing that first outside zone. Massive angle there from Adam LZ. Chris Forsberg making some corrections there to get to the side of LZ, and LZ absolutely pulling away from Forsberg right now. LZ getting deep into that outside zone.
Man.
Wow, did LZ just take down a giant? Adam LZ, the giant killer in that Enjuku Racing S15. Ryan, what do you think?
Well, he does not want to get pushed over even by a 3-time champion, and he came out pretty strong there. Looks like there were some forced errors by Chris in the chase position. Didn't get the greatest initiation by LZ. Kind of had to try to find a way to get settled here. Now he's going to unwind a little bit of angle, come off outside zone 2. Here's the angle from LZ coming into outside zone 1, or after outside zone 1. Then LZ gets deep into outside zone 2. Forsberg through the smoke line here. Maybe could have got to that a little bit earlier because he didn't transition at the same time that LZ did, and that forced him to be on a little bit of a lower line playing catch-up now. So this is a big opportunity here for Adam LZ. I want to take a look at his run here to see if anything had an impact on Chris at all, but at least at first pass it looked like Chris just made some mistakes there that were a bit unforced, and it may come back to haunt him here, and a huge opportunity for Adam LZ.
You know, like you said, the initiation,
right there.
also, and the angle, the viewing angle, the POV for right here is very different, very unique. See, look at, I mean, you can see LZ dropping a tire, and Chris isn't as far away as I initially thought. And also, Chris's line on that last and final outside zone, you can see he was shallow, similar to Adam was on his run. So both of them having mistakes in both of their runs. Lead versus lead, chase versus chase. That's really what it comes down to, right?
I mean, I think, you know, if you wanted to put me on the spot, I'm not asking you to, but if you wanted to put me to,
Ryan,
I think
I'm putting you on the spot.
I think there's somebody that could win and it be justified. I think there's somebody that there's no way they can win, or it could be a one more time. That's my initial thought.
Wow, really? I mean,
if you dig into that, though,
really hard pressed. I know what you're saying. All right, so here is the BC Racing side by side. You can see, you know, LZ definitely got close and then backed off. Lead versus lead, chase versus chase. That's a tough one. And all right, again, Adam LZ making the jump from Pro 2 to Pro this year. Slide him left for Forsberg, right for LZ. Oh, one more time there. Oh, and look at that, one more time there, going at it again. And oh, look at that. Brian Egger actually saying and siding with Adam LZ. That was 2-1. All jokes aside, right now, who's going to step up? Jonathan Nerren in his tried and true, Old Faithful S chassis. Vaughn Gittin Jr. in a very proven, obviously according to Seattle, back-to-back wins. Here we go. Vaughn Gittin Jr. will lead. Jonathan Nerren giving chase. Vaughn Gittin Jr. massive angle there from Vaughn Gittin Jr. past that front flip. Both are wrapping around it into that second outside zone. Both simultaneously. Oh, and Nerren gets left into smoke. Oh, it looks like falls out of gear, shuts her down. Vaughn Gittin Jr. continues on. So just as I said, Old Faithful, tried and true, leaves him stranded out there on that big sweeper. Ryan.
Well, good continued progression here from Vaughn Gittin Jr. And obviously Nerren having some problems in the chase position. Looks like he's gonna have an incomplete, did not finish the run. You can see Vaughn coming out of outside zone 2 and 3, connecting it very well. Smooth transition from 2 to 3, which has really been a big challenge for a lot of drivers. Big flick initiation, stays on the throttle and gets nasty through inside clip number 1. Beautifully positioned into outside zone 2 and 3. Nerren surges forward. Right there, he starts drawing off the throttle and then goes out of frame. He does not finish the run, so it looks like he's gonna have an incomplete. And let's take a look at it from the sky here. Vaughn completely fills outside zone 1. He's tight on inside clip 1, right out to outside zone 2, and that transition very fluid. Nerren was offline trying to catch up there and then shut it down and did not finish the run.
Super GR is on Nitto tires. Jeff Jones leads the GT radials. Underneath is Edelbrock, Doc, 370Z. Woo! Initiating Jeff Jones, massive angle there, past that first front clip. Massive separation here, Jeff Jones and Aasbo now gets to the side of Jones. Aasbo goes off. Jeff Jones continues on the course, and Jeff Jones could have an absolutely storybook tale here in Texas, Ryan.
I think Aasbo was really thrown off by Jeff Jones' approach, and he never got reconciled. It ended up in Aasbo trying to play catch up, making contact with Jones and going off course. Look at this, watch. Jones goes clear over to the center of the track. Aasbo tries to adjust, initiates off of outside zone 1. Then he's on the wrong side of Jones almost, pulls angle out of the car. Now he's trying to catch up, surges forward. Now Jones can, that's a braking area, that's a decel area, so Aasbo looks like he's just coming up too quick there. Here it is again. You can tell Aasbo did not look comfortable in the way that Jones was approaching that first point of initiation. Try to make those adjustments. Obviously on this track you can get away really quickly, which Jones did. Aasbo surged forward from outside zone 2, and that's where you saw the contact that turned into a collision.
Two things. Well, I see Lantain put his headset on, so we'll get to the bottom of that. And is this something, did Jones impede in the line of Aasbo, similar to we saw the contact between Field and Aasbo? Lantain.
Understanding that, right? Right. So this is one of those, have lessons been learned today, right? We've got a driver that has an incomplete. Vaughn is really good at doing this, actually, though. He really understands closing the gap at the right time when the lead driver has it.
But you also know Vaughn for definitely throwing down, ready to rock, the professional fun haver. Now coming into that third outside zone. And this is a good tempered approach, I think. This is smart because right there is when he would have shifted to third. And both these guys shooting off course a little bit there. I don't think that's going to be an incomplete for either driver, but just getting aggressive there towards the end, losing some back bumpers for Vaughn Gittin Jr., but definitely flirting with that incomplete going off course. But Ryan, I think that was a wise approach there for Vaughn Gittin Jr.
No, I think you're absolutely correct. I was pretty certain that he was going to do something like this, which is basically do enough to get the win and not get an inactive chase. And like I said, he's pretty good at this. He's been in this situation a million times before, kept the pressure on enough to not make it a situation where, he's pushing too hard and could make a mistake, force it one more time. And also he doesn't want to get an inactive chase. So he got right in the middle there and did a great job.
James Stephen, thanks for watching all the way from lovely Scotland with James and Jamie. Any shout out? There you go. So again, thanks for watching all the way in Scotland. James Stephen. Slide him right for Vaughn Gittin Jr. Jonathan Nerren gets knocked out. Vaughn Gittin Jr. gets the win and moves on. Who is he going to be going against? Will it be Chris Forsberg or Adam Els? That is a pun intended because I had the Batman mask on earlier. Here we go. The one more time battle. Forsberg out of the gate. A big gap here from Adam LZ. Adam LZ not part of the equation right now. Ryan, this isn't the run that we saw from Adam earlier, but now it looks like he gained some ground. Forsberg turned it up. Can't even see Adam LZ. Where he is gone. Woo, he almost went to that sign.
Oh man, what could have been from the first battle now is really pointing in the direction of Forsberg. Now obviously you don't want to say anything crazy because we've already seen some of these get reversed, but let's take a look. Forsberg gets a great jump, LZ does not. And Forsberg, once he locks up, he is gone. Gets out to outside zone 2. He's not cutting the course. 3, he's nice and deep there. LZ is immediately stuck in the smoke line. And once that happens, we see drivers get on the other side of it. It's almost impossible for them to get out. And he goes off course, giving himself an incomplete.
Yeah, where does it happen, man? That smoke signals, it's just thick, man. So you can see second outside zone, LZ running his own game. Tries to jump up, and right there you see him dip a tire and goes off, almost hits our signs. But yeah, that's going to be a major disadvantage for Adam LZ. We have our Toyotas over there, our Nightshade 2021 models, the 2021 Tundra and Tacoma Nightshade Special Edition, built off a limited grade, offering the perfect combination of luxury and functionality. The Tacoma has been an off-road icon for more than 25 years and is considered a master of all trades with available features such as crawl control, multi-terrain select, and hill start assist control. Tacoma will give you the confidence to take on even the toughest terrains. There's the Nightshade Tundra 2021 model. Looks like trucks are back in position and we are ready to send them here. Vaughn Gittin Jr. is already in the Final Four. Who's he going against? LZ? Or is he going against Chris Forsberg? LZ comes out of the gate. Let's see what Forsberg and how he competes against LZ. Now past that front clip, LZ into that second outside zone, filling all of it, nice done. Into the third. This is LZ that we saw on that first battle. And this is the Forsberg that we would expect, and there it is. So all things considered, looks like Chris Forsberg will get the win, unfortunately due to Adam LZ and that major mistake on that first run.
What are you talking about? If that happens, it's rigged.
Oh, yeah, dude, yeah. We planned this, right?
A good lead run here by LZ and a tempered approach by Forsberg, doing enough here. He really starts pouring the pressure on, leaving outside zone number 3, and he's able to get that proximity. LZ had a good chance in that first battle with Chris making some mistakes and LZ performing well, but in the second battle with an incomplete in his first run and no incomplete from Chris in his run here, it's a pretty easy decision overall.
And slide him left for Chris Forsberg, gets the win. Forsberg gets the win. And we'll move on to go against his Drift Alliance brother. In it, there is Ryan Tuerck, Taylor Hall on the start line. Tuerck, familiar territory for him, but Ryan Sage, you were talking about it. You know, Tuerck has not had a win this year, but still leads the points. Tuerck initiates in that first outside zone. Past that front clip, Taylor Hall takes out that front clip with his front right tire. Not too aggressively. Oh, and then Taylor Hall dives on the inside. Ryan Tuerck tries to keep it out. Look at the massive angle there from Tuerck and Ho crossing the finish line. Tons of smoke coming off their vehicles. Tuerck wasn't all the way out to that last outside zone, but definitely kept it sideways. Taylor Hall diving in even shallower though.
Well, Taylor Hall is a completely different driver and program this year, turning over a leaf, looking unbelievable and hard to beat. Ryan Tuerck leading the points. This could be a big scalp here for Taylor Hall. As Tuerck does not get out to outside zone 2. Hall does make a good adjustment, but as he transitions to 3, he misses 3 and takes that tight line. So that's where there's going to be some emphasis from the judges on the mistake. However, by doing so, he was able to gain proximity and keep the duration there, but notice he misses outside zone 3 completely. Now Ryan Tuerck will be charged with a mistake by not getting out to outside zone 2 completely. And that's an area where both spotters can say, hey, this is where this guy made a mistake. Try to do better there. See, Tuerck just gets to the edge of outside zone 2. He kind of leaves it a little bit early. 3, he does much better, but notice that Taylor Hull does not get there at all. He's on a much tighter line. Gave himself proximity, but he had to sacrifice a lot.
All right, let's go ahead and alternate the order here. Taylor Hull will lead Ryan Tuerck in the chase position. All right, we are getting word that we are clear to send. Make sure everybody is good to go. Our final battle of the Link ECU top 8. The winner going against Jeff Jones. Taylor Hull out front, that Comp Cams Cadillac. Into that first outside zone goes Taylor Hull. Ryan Tuerck not giving him an inch. Now coming that second outside zone, transitioning into the big sweeper. Taylor Hull checks up a little bit. Good angle from Hull. And across the finish line, Ryan.
Well, Taylor Hull must have listened to us, or at least got some ideas, because I think he did outside zone 2 much better than Ryan Tuerck. How did Tuerck fare in the chase position? Was he able to mimic? Was he able to keep proximity? What was the duration? Let's go back and take a look at it. Straight line approach here for Hull. Already Tuerck getting aggressive in the chase position. He falls back for a second. Hull gets super deep out there, and Tuerck does not follow him out. So he does not get out to outside zone 2. 3 does a much better job, and by this time he's locked in. He stays, wow, there's some stuff flying off Taylor Hull's car. You see what that was?
No, I think it was his front fender, his front right fender.
Okay. So let's take a look from above here. You can see Tuerck was very aggressive on initiation, but look at Hull. Gets way out to outside zone 2. Tuerck is almost in the middle of the course. Now this is where he meets back up with Hull. He does get to outside zone 3. He locks in here, and so we see mistakes from both drivers. Hull's on outside zone 3 was pretty aggressive. He got proximity, and I think Ryan Tuerck on outside zone 2 was pretty bad as well. It doesn't seem as bad just because of how narrow the course is. We also have to remember that the judges will most likely call a side-by-side, and here it is.
Yep.
So let's take a look at these runs side-by-side if you're judging at home.
All right, Tuerck leading on the left, Taylor Hull leading on the right. Lead versus lead, chase versus chase. Both of them. You can see Taylor Hull diving in shallow on the left. Tuerck looked like he had some distance, and then he got to the side of him. Definitely threw that sweeper. Are you any crystal ball moments here, Ryan? A little Nostradamus. What do you think?
Nothing super crystal. I have some intuitions, but it's close.
All right, so some people pulling for Taylor Hull out there, some people pulling for Ryan Tuerck. Again, the target is on Ryan Tuerck's back as he is leading the current points championship. Can he take it to the top? Remember, we do have a third place battle because we don't have qualifying. Here we go. Slide him left for Tuerck, right for Taylor Hull. One more time from Chris Ewell. Going to Ryan Lontaine. He says Ryan Tuerck, and Brian Eggert says Ryan Tuerck gets the win.
Good opportunity for Chris to make up some points, being that he's in the top 10.
Here
He's
we
got
go.
to get through this guy first.
Here we go. This guy meaning, oh, we have a restart. Looks like we might have a restart. All right, they're gonna bring him back to, yep, looks like Forsberg knocked over a cone, so 1 strike. Forsberg just knocking over a cone. We will rebuild. Never forget. Never forget. Oh man, look at that. Soap on the ropa. Quickly fixing the cone. We have the technology. All right. So Forsberg knocking over cone, 3 strikes and you're out. 1 strike counted against him. Man, look at that camber on Vaughn's front wheels. This should be a good one, man. Should be a really exciting run here. Forsberg leading, give it chase. Here we go. Forsberg into that first outside zone. Transitioning past that front clip into the second outside zone through that power alley. Forsberg pulling away, and Gittin Jr. lunges forward now to the side of him into that sweeper. Forsberg and Gittin goes in the side of Forsberg. staying in it.
Was that before the finish line?
That was across the finish line. Man, that is a nasty hit. Look at that. Holy cow. Dented in the side of that carbon fiber.
Woo!
Man, Forsberg gets hit so much.
Well, big and nasty snap here by Chris Forsberg in that first outside zone. Vaughn washes out a little bit in the smoke cloud, and Forsberg gets a gap on him. I want to see how deep into outside zone 2 Forsberg went, or if he was able to get through that zone faster by being on a tighter line. But once Vaughn locks in, he is super tight there, and it was about 15 feet, maybe 20 feet before the finish line that Vaughn made contact with Chris as they went through. Here's Forsberg on outside zone 2. Yeah, he gets right to the edge there, maybe a tire over, so pretty good job there as Vaughn tries to make up ground. He locks in pretty early, and he's super close right now, and he starts to reel him in. If you get to around this last turn, Forsberg angles up a little bit more, and Vaughn goes right into the door. Here it is from the overhead. Vaughn washes out a little bit there. He has to come off that line. He drops the tire right before outside zone 3. Tightens up here. Forsberg on the throttle. And that's where the contact is made. It might be a no harm, no foul situation there, even though we know that taking a look at the decel map, remember outside zone 1 and 3 are the only areas on the course where there should be some kind of deceleration expected by the lead driver for the chase.
All right, looks like they're over in the hot pit area. They're taking a look at that door, seeing what's going on, and I believe they're able to get hands on the car because of the contact. Looked like Vaughn hit him from the side. So, what are we deeming here? Getting word from Pat. Anybody at fault, or what's the scenario? Okay. So Vaughn is at fault. So Forsberg can put hands on the vehicle just to make sure it's all good. You saw Forsberg had a little bit deeper angle, and then right towards that, like you said, Ryan, right towards the finish line, you saw Vaughn just go ahead and just punt him right in the door, but did not affect the vehicles.
I was looking at Forsberg's smoke line to see if he had lifted because he was getting close to the edge of the course. It didn't look like he did. It looks like he kind of angled up towards the end. I think that's why the judges gave the fault to Vaughn. But like I said, we should clarify, I think it's going to be a no harm, no foul situation. It's just going to be about repairing the vehicle damage because both drivers came across the finish line. That's where Vaughn got a little bit washed out. You can see how on the center of the course that he was. Now keep an eye on Chris's smoke line all the way through from this angle here. You really, if you focus on the smoke line, you'll see anytime a driver lifts, the smoke line will change, and it seems pretty consistent from Chris there. He has he's allowed to angle up and get angled through the finish line, and that's what the judges actually want to see.
Through the veins, here we go. Send it, fellas. Jeff Jones out front. Oh wow, look at Ryan Tuerck jumping right to the side of him. Woo-wee! Jeff Jones in that second outside zone. Look at Ryan Tuerck. He is not giving him an inch at all. Gets up to the side of 370Z, lunging forward. Jeff Jones, great angle, but cannot shake Ryan Tuerck. Live free or die, New Hampshire's own.
Well, Ryan Tuerck has found a way to win in pretty much every event this year. He hasn't found a way to win the last battle of the night, however, and that's one of the reasons why he's on top right now in the championship chase. He's one battle closer to getting another shot at doing it again. He follows Jeff Jones like a moving clipping point. Jones was shallow on 2, made it out to 3, but Ryan adjusted and he was able to keep the pressure on. He wants to make it completely disambiguous for the judges in this battle here, and he does a great job on most aspects of the chase driver's responsibilities. When Jones makes a mistake, he capitalizes on it. When Jones makes a mistake on line, he still follows him through the finish line with aggression, and that's a great job of driving by Ryan Tuerck. Papadakis Racing has got to be happy here in this situation, and we will see whether or not he's going to be moving on into the finals.
All right, so as we wait for the verdict between these, here we go. Slide him left for Jones, right for Ryan Tuerck. And there you go. Chris Yule says Ryan Tuerck, as does Ryan Lontaine. And finally, Brian Egger. Ryan Tuerck gets the win. He's going to the finals. Ryan, you talked about it. Just not going all the way, not the full pull, getting that overall win. Can he do it here in Texas? And And it looks like we are going back.
Still has another shot, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, you talking about Jeff Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we saw Forsberg and Gittin. We already saw one half of that battle, Ryan. One half of the Forsberg Gittin. You can see the team there. Absolutely elated. Thumbs up all around for Jones and Ryan Tuerck. I always just think about perspective. Like, I've never been down there in the pits. Neither have you, right? Like, when events are going on, it just seems there's going to be a lot of tension down there. There's some camaraderie. There's maybe some bitterness. Like, you get a full range of emotions down in those hot pits.
100%. I mean, I'm so grateful to, you know, our production crew and to Lorette that give us those insights.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen so many crazy and amazing moments down there, you know, from Taylor Hole getting emotional last round to, you know, the drivers going back and forth on things that happen on track, and of course those ever wild competition timeouts.
Christoph's Blues just running off of the jack stands. The remember in Atlanta when he just drove off the jack stands?
Yeah, oh yeah,
that was a great one.
Never forget that.
Yep, never forget. Christoph's Blues, shout out, homeboy, the Latvian lover.
So Vaughn right here, I think he's really going to have to pull out all the stops. I have to imagine that he's going to be at a slight disadvantage because of the washout. Not so much because of the contact, though that is a factor, but I think from inside clip 1 to outside zone 3,
here we go.
He lost ground on Chris. He's got to make up here.
Here we go. Von Gittin Jr., Chris Forsberg. Chris says he feels more confident than ever in this vehicle. Von Gittin Jr. past that first front clip in that second outside zone through the power alley. Chris lets him by, and there goes Chris Forsberg into the side of Von Gittin Jr. Look at this, tit for tat. Woo! Look at this, all Drift Alliance battle. Oh, doctor, look at this. An all Drift Alliance battle. That was sick. Oh, man, I feel like Chris is like, all right, dude, I'm tired of people hitting me. And he just took a swing, and there you go. That was a love tap. These two gentlemen, veterans of the sport, 4 championships between them. Ryan, let's take a look at it again.
I knew it was going to be close here, because look how close Chris stays to Vaughn on outside zone 2. Comes through the smoke line and gets right up there in outside zone 3. Little love tap there. Vaughn stays in it. Here it is again. See, right here, Chris is already setting himself up perfectly to stay within proximity on outside zone 2. I'm not sure I've actually seen somebody do it like that today just yet. And that's when he could have got really close to making a really big mistake, but he pulled it off. And then he was able to back off for a second, then get right back in the pocket and keep the pressure on Von Gittin Jr. Getting out, following him out to 2 like that, keeping that proximity, that is a great bit of driving there. You can see that little love tap that really didn't result much other than Chris having to fall back for a second, but then he was quickly able to get back on the throttle and stay very close to Von Gittin Jr.
That was an exciting run. Again, 2 OGs from 04. There's only a handful of drivers that have been around since day 1. These are 2 of them. These guys coming from the East Coast, coming from Maryland, coming from Pennsylvania. Von Gittin Jr. just making the move to North Carolina just last month. Chris Forsberg. Let's take a look at the BC Racing side-by-side instant replay. Go for gold. Who's going for gold? BC Racing, the official suspension of Formula Drift.
See Forsberg out front. I think you'll see Vaughn washes out right there, so he's not really playing much of a factor in the chase until we get back into this section of the course. Chris stays with Vaughn through outside zones 2 and 3 really well. We don't see Vaughn get super close on outside zone 4 till the end, though he did have good relative proximity. But Chris, in terms of his chase run, looked like he was sticking to Vaughn for a good portion of the course. So it's not just about proximity at any given moment, it's about the duration as well.
I like the way Chris executed that transition. He did it right in front of him through the smoke, being blinded. Here we go, slide him right for Von Gittin Jr., left for Chris Forsberg, and there you go. You can see Ryan Lantain saying Forsberg, and Chris Forsberg gets the win, 2-1. Forsberg gets the win.
Can he deliver? The relentless one, the man with the most infectious smile in the series, Jeff Jones. Huge opportunity here. Can he do it against a guy that has arguably had the most momentum in the series the past 2 rounds, and that is Von Gittin Jr.
Proven performance. We know he can do it. Here we go. Let's send it. Look at even his crew guy in the back throwing up the shaka. Here we go. Send it! Von Gittin Jr., Jeff Jones for 3rd place. Von Gittin Jr. throwing it in that monster tire performance Mustang RTR. Past that front clip. Let's see how they handle that second outside zone through the power alley. Coming down to that 3rd outside zone, that big sweeper. Jeff looks like he's keeping his composure, not getting too aggressive. Knows that he can. Oh, look at that. Great proximity. That was master class. Well done by Jeff Jones. And only a good chase run can be created by a good lead run. Good execution by Vaughn, but I'm really impressed by the composure of Jones.
Me too, and there was two things I was thinking about before this battle started is, number one, does Jeff Jones have enough car? And number two, don't overcook it.
Right.
Don't put yourself in a compromising position where you incomplete on the first part of the battle and it's all over. It looks like both of those things kind of held up. It looks like he does have enough car to hang with Vaughn, and he was really composed, right? Was he door to door the whole time? No, but he did as good as you could do in that position. Vaughn, in the meanwhile, I think we'll be grabbing some replays here. He had a pretty solid lead. We know that he's capable of having those really great leads, and it looks like Jeff Jones is, he's calling
a comp. He is calling a competition timeout. So
let's take a look.
Here's the replay you're looking for, Ryan.
Yeah, so big snap by Vaughn Gittin Jr., full throttle here. You see a little bit less angle from Jones. That right there is probably the biggest knock on the run for him so far. Now, as soon as he gets into outside zone number 4, and prior to that, he made a good move to position himself in the right area to gain some distance between him and Vaughn Gittin Jr. It's right here where he struggles a little bit to keep pace with Vaughn and get out to outside zone 2. 3, he did a much better job. Vaughn actually went a little bit deep there, and you can see Vaughn was breaking out of outside zone 3, which could have been, an issue if Jones was in much greater proximity. But overall, well composed from Jeff Jones. A pretty good lead run by Vaughn Gittin Jr. overall, giving himself a good opportunity to chase down and try to get that third place trophy, and that'd be 3 podiums for him in a row.
Yep.
But Jones, he's got his work cut out for him in the lead. He's got to take a look at these replays and look at what mistakes, if any, that Vaughn made and try to come back with a similar or better lead run.
Lights are on. Let's send it here for third place. Jeff Jones. Is he going to play spoiler? Is it going to be an all Drift Alliance podium? Here we go. Jeff Jones out front. That Doc Edelbrock Nissan 370Z. CPR engines, clutch wheels go round with GT radials on the corner. Coming into that second outside zone. Jeff goes all the way out there. Look at that. And now coming in. Well, it's definitely a decel area. That was a strong decel, but then he turns the smoke machine back on. Vaughn Gittin Jr. goes into the side of him, continues through. Woo-wee. Ryan, Jeff did a really good job in that power rally, getting out to that second outer zone. I think in the decel area, he slowed down a considerable amount. You talk about that smoke trail. Watch how much it dissipates.
Well, he said he's starting in third. I wonder, does that imply he doesn't have second? And he gets a good jump here. Vaughn, I think, cautiously approaching, but great job on outside zone 2. 3, pretty good job as well. Massive e-brake pull there through that decel zone. Vaughn adjusts appropriately, and we don't see contact actually in that area at all. So both drivers did a good job making adjustments.
Bingo.
That's where we see it as Jones comes off that final outside zone number 4. Here it is again from camera 2 as we see Jones transition to inside clip 1. Vaughn looking for an area to attack. Pretty good job on staying on the line that Jeff Jones is drawing down. And as Jones approaches the final outside zone, he's on a little bit more of a tight line. Vaughn makes that contact, but both drivers come through unscathed.
That was an exciting run. Who gets third place here at round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship? Vaughn Gittin Jr. does. Vaughn Gittin Jr. gets third place here at round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. Round of applause around the world for Jeff Jones. Vaughn Gittin Jr. holding on to second, and Ryan Tuerck still holding on to the lead. So shaking things up quite a bit, man. I mean, from Adam LZ, Jeff Jones, Jonathan Nerren, the usual suspects moving on. So here we go. Let's get ready. These are the finals, round 5. Remember, we're back here again tomorrow for round 6. Let's send it. Chris Forsberg leading the NOS Energy Drink Nissan 370Z. It's the Blackout Garage Battle. Blackout, who's coming out on top? Chris Forsberg initiates. Past that front foot, taking that thing out into that second outer zone. Chris Forsberg really foregoing that into that outside zone. Definitely want to take a look at the replay here. Forsberg, massive angle all the way to outside zone. Tuerck didn't get out there. Kind of got thrown off there, Ryan. Can't see, we'll take a look at the replay. Who hit the front clip and where, and also that second outside zone in the power alley.
Yeah, it got weird right before inside clip number 1 or right after. And let's take a look at it from the drone first. Really tight.
Close.
And so you can see Forsberg did not push out wide to outside zone 2. And I think that caused Tuerck have to angle up and make that adjustment. So that could potentially be on Forsberg there. As we take some other looks at it, we'll get a little bit more clarity. And Forsberg, after he initiates, Tuerck is super close. Oh, you can see he gets off throttle through that inside clip. And that causes Tuerck to basically have to angle up to avoid collision. So something happened to Chris there in the lead position, and that is going to be duly noted for the spotter of Ryan Tuerck. And obviously Tuerck experienced it himself, but I believe that the judges will basically penalize Chris Forsberg for getting off throttle in that inside clip and not getting out to outside zone number 2.
Yeah, that's going to be a deficit on the side of Forsberg. And you saw him where he hit that front clip. You know, he talked about his nitrous kind of not being active or not properly working prior to the Adam LZ battle. That seemed like he trusted the car, but it just did not push out exactly where he wanted to. So he center punched that cone, threw him off, and then theoretically threw off Ryan Tuerck as well. So now this is where it really comes to abreast here. This is it, or is this it? Are we gonna have another one more time? Let's see. As we can see, Forsberg on the line. Ryan Tuerck, here we go. Ryan Tuerck in the lead. Chris Forsberg, give it chase. Send it, Texas, around the world. Ryan Tuerck initiates in that first outside zone, into the second outside zone, past that front clip, into the second outside zone, through that power rally, delivering. There's Chris Forsberg right to the door of that gum out. Toyota Race, Toyota Corolla hatchback. Ryan Tuerck, our current points leader, and his good friend Chris Forsberg going toe-to-toe, wheel-to-wheel. Make some noise for an All Drift Alliance podium.
Bringing out the old school, huh?
Hey, I mean, they're still running the wreaths.
Here we go, run number 2. Ryan Tuerck on his lead run, gets through a bit smoother than Chris Forsberg on outside zone 2. Forsberg attacks on outside zone 3, putting the pressure on Ryan Tuerck through this final section here as Tuerck wraps around. And we get a good look there. Here it is, straight line approach from Ryan Tuerck. Nice little snap rolls into it. Quick pace through inside clip number 1. Forsberg doing a good job following as Tuerck comes up a little bit short and goes off. See, these shots really pick up things from different angles that give you a greater perspective. Now, I think that I still believe that the first run, the lead run from Forsberg, is going to be substantial in the overall evaluation. The second run, Tuerck forgoes outside zone 2, and Forsberg does a much better job in proximity, following Ryan through the entirety of that outside zone 4, and also doing a great job from 2 to 3. So the judges now doing their final evaluations, and we will bring the the drivers down front for the announcement. And then Jared, you know, you're gonna be over there, so please join us for the podium ceremony.
Yeah, come on over, join us for the podium ceremony. It's over near the stands where the fans are. So yeah, man, a great event. Really looking forward to tomorrow. Great weather, a little brisk, but I think it just contributed to an awesome run. Here's the side-by-side for the BC Racing Custom Coilover. Go for gold. Excuse me. BC Racing, the official suspension of Formula Drift.
Well, I think by the attitude that I'm seeing from the judges, it looks like we do have a winner, so we will bring them down as we take a final look at the BC Racing coilovers side by side. Who's it gonna be, Chris Forsberg or Ryan Tuerck? The winner here, if it's Tuerck, further separation in the championship. If it's Forsberg, puts himself into 4th place and starts keeping the distance away from the other drivers, namely the guy to his left and the guy to his right.
And here they are, our 1, 2, and 3. Make some noise for them. All Drift Alliance podium. Since 2004, this has never been done. These guys are OGs from day one. Round of applause, high five all around. Unbelievable. And there it is. So, Ryan, I'm really looking forward to round 6, but it's all about round 5 right now. So join us at the podium. Carbon fiber trophies. And here we go. 3rd place here at round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship, and that Monster Energy Nitto Tire Ford Performance Mustang RTR Spec 5D Third place, Von Gittin Jr. Von Gittin Jr. gets third place. Yeah, that's from you. You definitely did that there, Vaughn. So third place goes to Von Gittin Jr. I don't know if they can hear me over here. And now your winner here at round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship, as Chris Forsberg and Ryan Tuerck are chatting it up. Make sure they can hear me. And your winner here at round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship is Ryan Tuerck. Ryan Tuerck gets the win in the Gumout Toyota Racing Toyota Corolla hatchback. Ryan Tuerck gets the win. They can barely hear me. That means second place. Second place goes to the NOS Energy Drink Nissan 370Z. Chris the Force Forsberg, second place. Ryan Tuerck first. Chris gets second. Von Gittin Jr. third. Again, it was unanimous that Ryan Tuerck got the win. Congratulations. He hasn't won since New Jersey last year, and he's your current points leader. So Tuerck, Forsberg, Gittin. Lorette, Nick, are you down there? Can you grab Tuerck and have some words with their winner?
Hi guys, I'm down here right in the middle, and Ryan Tuerck, congratulations. Amazing, amazing job. Man, you said that today earlier you were making a few mistakes, but you were finally able to clean it up. What clicked into place?
Honestly, it was the battle of the least mistakes for a lot of the battles that I was in, because I made a lot of mistakes and the other driver, some of the other drivers that I drove against did the same, and it was tough. I didn't feel that comfortable today. We were just struggling trying to get really proper on the line, and man, I'm just happy. I honestly can't even believe I'm still in disbelief that I got the win, let alone we've been working on this 1, 2, 3 Drift Alliance podium literally since we started drifting, and it finally happened. So that's the most I'm pumped on, is that I get to share the podium with my homies right here that I basically started drifting with from day one, and that means a lot to me. So I'm thrilled to walk out of here with that.
Yeah. And earlier I was asking you, how is everything? And you said everything is nervous, and there's obviously so much emotion right now. When were those nerves able to be settled?
They haven't all day, even from top 32 with Kyle Mohan onwards. I was just today, I didn't really nail it in practice, and if I don't do that, then I come in extra nervous. And had a good battle with Kyle Mohan that calmed my nerves a little bit, and then just moving forward, I couldn't clean up my line perfectly the way I wanted it to. I was a little bit off here or a little bit off there, and it just, I think I'm being a little hard on myself, but it's just the way you have to be. I want to be better out there and throw some better tandem down. And coming into the finals at Forsberg, he was killing it all day, had a fast car, and I was nervous. Even though it's my homie, I was nervous. We wanted to win this thing, and thank God we did, thanks to my team and everybody supporting us at the Papadakis Racing side of things, and my crew chief, Brian, the rest of my team, Nick, and Dominic. My wife came here. I haven't even seen her since we got married a little over a month ago, so it's going to be awesome to share that with her. And man, I'm pumped. Can we pop the champagne yet or what?
Absolutely. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. Congratulations. I'm going to make my way over to Chris Forsberg as well. Sorry for interrupting, guys. But Chris Forsberg takes second place. Man, this must be such a relief to finally get that position.
Yeah, it was a weird weekend, like I was saying earlier. It wasn't until like top 16 that really kind of clicked. And the car felt on rails after that. I felt like we had a shot to win, and we did. I just totally blew it in the transfer coming into inner one. Car just rotated a little too quick, and I center punted that cone. And right then I was like, I'm on the wrong place of the track, and I was just trying to get it back online, but knowing that I was basically throwing the runaway. So just tried to give the fans a good chase run to really seal the end, really end the night, and it felt good. And so I'm really, really pumped to be on the podium with this thing and getting back in the runnings.
Chris, congratulations. And Von Gittin Jr. taking that third place. The Drift Alliance team on the podium finally. Man, this must mean so much to you.
Yeah, it's it's a lot. I was super emotional last round in Seattle, and now to be sharing this with my boys. Drift Alliance is something that's very special to us. Like, we don't promote it and do it as much, but it's still our brotherhood. And we've had a lot of 1s and 3s and 2s and 3s and 2 of us on the podium at a time, but never all 3 of us. And I think it's just a testament to passion and commitment and what we love, our love for the sport. And yeah, it feels great. I'm pumped. I really wanted to be running that for that 1 and 2 spot, but I'm super pumped. We got some great points. Getting to spray my boys with champagne, and then we get to come back tomorrow and do it again. So huge shout out to everybody watching the live stream and everyone that came out. Those stands, I was impressed how many people came here given the circumstances, and yeah, the love was felt. So thank you guys, and tune in tomorrow because we're going to put it down. Think of this as a warm-up. It's go time now.
Love it. Vaughn, congratulations. Congratulations to Ryan Tuerck, Chris Forsberg, and Vaughn Gittin Jr., your podium here for round 5.
Woo-wee. Look at that. Ryan Tuerck, 372. Vaughn Gittin Jr., 340.
Oh, boy.
Aasbo in third. Forsberg, 264. That's his race number, 64. Denofa, 260, shaking things up. And like Vaughn said, this is just a warm-up. Tomorrow, it's go time once again. Round 6 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. This is how Ryan Tuerck did it. Seeing Forsberg go for it. Ryan Tuerck just, unfortunately for Forsberg, he made that big mistake there on that front clip and then avoiding that outside zone too. Ryan, your thoughts?
Well, what's interesting for me is we're going to do something once again that we've done 2 other times before this year. We're going to come back and do this all over again tomorrow. And you have to imagine that something that happened today, some kind of theme, is going to pop up again tomorrow. And what is that going to be? That's what we're all looking forward to.
Yeah, super excited. Texas Motor Speedway playing host to round 5 today. Tomorrow, we do it all once again. Round 6 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. Congratulations to our podium finishers here today, even yesterday. Jonathan Hurst, Blake Olson, and Derek Madison. But today was all about Ryan Tuerck with the win, Chris Forsberg second, Vaughn Gittin Jr. third. The hunt for the championship heats up as we keep it cool here in Texas. On behalf of Lorette Nickel, Ryan Sage, I'm Jared Dienda. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, let's take a look at the times tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. And coincidentally, I had that Batman mask on. So thank you so much. And remember, daylight savings time, so set your clocks. Don't eat too much candy. Thank you for joining us. Happy Halloween. Yep, that's right. Howling at the beers here in a moment as we're going to howl at the champagne. So again, all right.